Yes, it's true. There's a lot of bad news out there. It just seems to never stop. But you know it's bad. You know it's bad when the Salvation Army is having a 50% off sale. Just, I mean, it's getting that bad. You also know it's bad when government bailout money is used for corporate bonuses for people who no longer even work there. You know it's bad when the world's second peaceful city, Reykjavik, Iceland, is protesting because their nation is in financial crisis. You know it's bad when an NFL team like the New York Jets is making some of their office staff take unpaid leave. You know, we are definitely in bad times with lots to get all depressed and all discouraged about. But even in the midst of these turbulent times, there are many examples where people's gloom has been brightened by others' generosity. Like what Jay Leno is doing. Jay Leno from The Tonight Show is coming to Detroit with something called Jay's Comedy Stimulus Plan. The concert will take place on April 7th at the Palace of Auburn Hills, and Leno is offering free admission to anyone out of work in Detroit. They weren't sure how popular it was. Now they have to add a second show because of that. In February, the good folks at Bellevue's Construct in Seattle are offering their sought-after, very expensive tech skills training free to the unemployed. On March 10th, FedEx Kinko's offered free photocopying for resumes for those people who are unemployed. Some community colleges, like one in the suburbs of Chicago, are absorbing all tuition costs for those who are unemployed. Sporting events, restaurants, training seminars are all generously providing discounts or free stuff to people who are unemployed. You know, isn't it nice? It's nice and helpful. It's nice when people do generous things like that. It really lifts your spirits when people are generous. That's why so many people love that show, Extreme Home Makeover. It's because it's people just oozing with generosity. Last Sunday night, Christy and I were flipping the stations, and we happened on Extreme Home Makeover. And this particular family right here, a missionary family. They live in El Paso, and they minister over into Mexico. They were generously provided a new home. And not only that, the whole community came out and donated tons of food for them. It's exciting when people are generous. When we're generous and when others are generous to us, it brightens our day. It lifts our spirits. It takes the edge off of the turmoil and the difficulty that we face. It lightens the load. David, the author of the 23rd Psalm, was getting at as we explore the next half of verse 5 of that psalm. We've been spending the last number of weeks looking at the 23rd Psalm. We're now down to the second half of verse 5. We have one more Sunday left, but over the past years, hundreds of years, the 23rd Psalm has been a real source of hope, soothing frazzled nerves of those who are experiencing grief and pain and struggles like many people are facing today, maybe even many of you. This little poem of 6 verses has brought more comfort and more consolation and has ministered to more hurting people than all the world's counselors and therapists could ever dream of helping. This song of the incredible love of God, immense, individual, shepherd style of God's love, reveals and reminds us that God really does care and is guiding us through life, every part of life, through the struggles and through the successes. God not only cares for us as a good shepherd, but even in the middle of the fray, of circumstances and people that would bring us down or act as our enemy, God is like a wonderful host, making it possible for us to connect with Him and experience His peace, His provision, and His protection. But that's not all. Psalm 23, verse 5 says, "You, God, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows." In this next half of verse 5, We learn of God's bailout plan. We learn of God's willingness to provide a true stimulus plan for us and God's gracious offer of gracious benefits, allowing us to experience God's generosity over our gloom, giving us hope in turbulent times. For when we experience the generosity of God, the fears and tears of life subside, and we can experience life at a whole new level of joy, even in the midst of struggle. So we can experience what James was talking about in the book of James, the Bible book of James, chapter 1, verse 2. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds. That word pure joy means gladness. It means literally making my heart to dance, extreme happiness. Even in tough times? Yes, definitely in tough times. Isn't that a little psychotic? Shouldn't we be gloomy? I mean, maybe a little Eeyore-ish. Oh, it's a gloomy day. Sure, we need to be honest with our feelings and acknowledge how we feel and deal with the issues at hand, but we don't have to stay there. We can be brought to pure joy. It's found in receiving what God offers. Now, each week as we've been studying through the 23rd Psalm, we have read from a different translation of this psalm. Translators from good scholars that have translated this from the original Hebrew into English. And this week we have another translation. It's in your outline before you can take it out right now. It's the New Revised Standard Version. And normally I would have us stand and read it out loud together. But this morning I have someone who I would like you to hear his very expressive version of the 23rd Psalm as he recites it. Check this out.